Let's make flower breeding in Fae Farm easy. If that's what you're after, you've come to the right place. What's the first shape you would have learnt as a kid? It's likely a square, right? Well, this flower breeding video is unique in that it's intended to be simple, little thinking, and based on the staple shape, the square. This technique will make it feel like Christmas, getting you all 72 flowers with efficient space usage on just one of your farms. So just make yourself 2 5x5 squares, and I'd recommend making one at the top left of your farm and one at the bottom left of your farm. In the top left, we'll place the first 3 flowers that you get in Fae Farm: the red rose, the yellow tulip, and the white lily. Feel free to place them in the same order they're listed in the almanac. Let's not think, just do. In the bottom square, we'll place the Fae-coloured flowers of the blue hyacinth, the green zinnia, and the magenta trillium. Same deal, in the order of the almanac. You won't need this many flowers, but just as a reminder, the flowers need to be in bloom for them to breed. No plucking flowers yet. With each day that passes in the game, all you do is water any seeds that pop up and continue watering your flowers until you see the flower petals. Oh, and don't forget to fill your can. The first 3 flowers will produce the 18 colours of the first set of flowers, and the second group will produce the other 18 of Fae colours, which comes to a total of 36, and half of the total flowers available in the game. Keep watering until your plot is filled, and then either now pluck the flowers, except for the original 3, or relocate them, but more on that in just a little bit. You can totally do this in the original plots, but I'm impatient as the next person, so feel free to create multiple of these plots. Between these 2 big squares, we're going to place 6 little 2x2 squares, which is what I love about this farm grid, is it's 20 spaces high, so it fits this configuration perfectly. What are these little squares, I can hear you ask? Well, let's cover that off right now. We want to get roses, lilies, and tulips in Fae colours, and the hyacinth, zinnia, and trillium in basic colours. So at the top left is the flower we want to convert, and the bottom right is the flower colour we want to influence. In this case, we want to make a blue rose and a red hyacinth. Here's the full set of the pairs, and note the relation between the two. Each row is working on converting from basic to Fae and vice versa, and let me explain a little bit more. Each time the flowers breed, they take one of the 2 colour genes of each parent. So in this case, the baby flower took the blue from the hyacinth and the red from the rose. Same deal with this new seed. To enable us to get a blue rose, we'll get rid of the double red gene rose for a blue red rose. We will have to wait 3 more water days to get it to full bloom though. This step is optional, but I do like to have better odds, so I'll keep this one for a rainy day. There, that's an apt pun. Do this for each of the pairs, and if it's the same flower type as the top left of the mini squares, just replace it if it's a multicolour version. Remember, the goal of these mini squares is to merge the flower type of the top left with the colour of the bottom right. Just give these babies a water, and now it's a waiting game. This is what we're after, turning a converted Fae coloured zinnia into a basic white zinnia. Once you get the target flowers in their pairings, you can rotate the Fae colours in the beds, keeping the original colours where they were to get the next set of flowers. Or you can just create multiple mini beds for each combination, and here's a graphic on screen to help you to think less and do more. Since the flower type born is one of the parents, the benefit of working in crossover pairs is that you can relocate the flower to increase your chances. Here I've ended up with a blue hyacinth with a yellow gene, so I'll replace the double blue hyacinth with this new flower to have a chance at a yellow hyacinth. Here's another example of me moving this blue hyacinth with red gene over to the other garden bed to help me get one step closer to a red hyacinth. Once I get the target flower in any one of the spare spots, I move it to the top right of the mini square, and I close it off by removing the bottom left square. This gives me a visual cue that I've landed the intended flower. I was lucky to have bred the intended white hyacinth already in this square, so I'll give it its first water of 4 to get first bloom and close off this bed to focus breeding on other spots of my farm. Back to the 5x5, you will eventually get all the flowers, but if you want to speed things up, you can use the same formation to convert a blended flower of one type to a pure double colour. Here I'm hedging my bets for reds of the pinks for a red lily, the yellow from the ivory for a yellow lily, and the whites for a white tulip. And like before, I'm closing up shop for this garden bed now, as I did for the other 2 beds just 4 days later. How easy was that? Switching gears back to the basic to Fay Farm colour propagation, once you've got enough of the colours, just recreate the same 5x5 grid, this time with the same colour formation, just now with the basic flower types of rose, lily and tulip, whichever ones you can muster. If you get a couple of sets, feel free to extend your chances with another set of 3. And moving down here, these are the basic colours with the Fay flowers of hyacinth, zinnia and trillium. Just with the original 5x5 flower beds, just keep watering when seeds pop up and any flowers that aren't fully bloomed yet. Once the whole plot is full, just move the flowers to a permanent home or pluck them for the petals. It might take you a few fills of the plot to get all the flowers, but just like before, you can also move the blended colours into diagonal pairs to increase your chances for those double colour genes that you're after to finish that set of 72 in the almanac. Oh, and fun fact, it's taken 40 flowers to fill this sign, which happens to be the number of squares wide for each farm in Fay Farm. Here's a visual of how I'd suggest to do your layout, and if you want a more in-depth guide on flower breeding, check out my video on breeding or my guide on getting your fancy wings. Big shout out to my paying channel members, AG Nation, you're all awesome. Join the nation today.